Next up, we have our last keynote presentation on scaling your VR fleet, solutions to the challenges of deploying XR at scale by our eminent presenter, Mr. Brad SCOGGIN. Brad is the co-founder and CEO of Arbor XR, and under Mr. SCOGGIN's direction, the company was first known as Springboard VR, became the world's leading VR management platform, serving the location-based entertainment sector before successfully divesting the entertainment division to capitalize on the growing opportunities in the business enterprise space. He and his wife, Dr. Merlin, a psychiatrist, currently live in Oklahoma with their 4 children. Over to Brad. You have the stage for the next 15 minutes.
All right, well, let's get started. Let me hit my stopwatch here to make sure I don't go over. Hopefully you all can see me okay. I'm doing a screen share here. And I apologize that I'm not with you live with the time change or the time zone difference. It was just easier to do it this way. But let's go ahead and jump in. My name is Brad SCOGGIN, and I am the CEO and one of 3 co-founders at Arbor XR. And what I'd like to talk to you about today is scaling your VR fleet and kind of walk through some of the challenges that we've identified over the last 5 or 6 years and the solutions that we've built to overcome those challenges when you're deploying really AR or VR, XR. So we've identified 3 primary challenges. Number 1 is device management. Number 2 is content management. And number 3 is user management. And each of these buckets, has their own subset of maybe minor challenges. And what we've realized is that, take any one of those minor challenges on their own, one of those minor friction points, it's not a huge deal, especially if you're at maybe say 10 headsets. But it becomes nearly impossible when you scale beyond 10 or maybe 15, right? Imagine friction points at 10 to 15, you get to 50, 100, 1,000 headsets, it becomes a lot more challenging. And of course, you can't isolate one of the friction points. So it's the culmination of the friction points as you move from your pilot or your proof of concept, maybe you're at 10 headsets, up to 25, 50, 100, 10,000 headsets. And so we built Arbor XR to solve these problems. We've been doing this for almost 6 years now. And the easiest way to think about Arbor is an MDM that's been designed specifically for XR. So it's kind of an oversimplified explanation. And MDM stands for mobile device management. You're probably familiar with that. So it's an MDM for XR. What I'd like to do is walk through 3 case studies. So kind of walk through some real world examples of different types of companies that we've helped to deploy and scale XR. Before I do that, I do want to take a minute and just share a little bit about who we are, why you should listen to us, why what we're saying matters. I think that's important. So I put on a headset for the first time, I guess almost 6 years ago now. And probably like many of you, it was my aha moment. I was totally blown away by the technology. And for me, what was most exciting was that it was a new technology that was sure to have this massive impact on our world. And maybe I was being idealistic, but the dream was, well, maybe we could have a seat at the table of helping shape that impact for good. And so 6 weeks later, we opened up one of the first virtual reality arcades in the United States. We did that in central US. And it was such an awesome, challenging experience. But it was so exciting to see people put on a headset and experience VR for the first time. But we also got to experience the pain of deploying VR firsthand. And we kept coming back to the same conclusion that getting into VR should be easy. And so a few months later, we pivoted and we launched a software company called Springboard VR that was focused specifically on the location-based entertainment market. So think VR arcades, family entertainment centers, et cetera. But the interesting thing is that even 5 years ago, we were solving the same problem. We were focused on managing devices, managing content, and managing users. Now, it was in a different market. And at that point, we were working primarily with tethered headsets, but very similar challenges. So over the next 18 months, we actually became the global market leader in that space, outside of China, Japan, Korea. And we had almost 600 locations at one point. We were in over 40 countries, and we had the largest commercial content marketplace for VR. And so it was this awesome time for us to learn about the industry, to build all this experience. But we all along the way we were looking for a more meaningful, direct application of the technology. And not that gaming is unimportant. I actually think that we'll look back and see a large part of our population actually experience VR for the first time at an arcade, which I think is really cool. But we were looking for a more meaningful impact. And so end of 2019, beginning of 2020, we sold Springboard and we pivoted, we rebranded as ARBORXR to focus on solving the exact same problems in the enterprise space. And when I say enterprise, I use that term very loosely to mean anything that is not consumer, not entertainment. So today we're actually serving over 350 companies, and these fall kind of into three buckets. We've got the Fortune 500, the Global 2000, which I will tell you it's been really, really encouraging to see the level of adoption from companies at that level. I think it's a really great sign for all of us when you see the Fortune 500, the Global 2000 adopting XR. We also have a chunk of small and medium-sized businesses. And then kind of the third bucket would be ISVs, or independent software vendors, which are content creators. And then I'll just tease you here because I'm not gonna reveal all of our secrets, but hopefully to give you a little bit more confidence, one of our larger customers is actually quickly approaching 20,000 devices. So we do have experience with larger scale rollouts. And the last thing I'll say about us, we're really excited. A week ago today, March 1st, we actually announced a partnership with HP. And so this has been in the works for almost 2 years. And basically what's happening is Arbor is licensing our technology to HP. So HP is taking a white label version of our software, and they are putting it on their cloud infrastructure, and they're pushing it out globally through their existing sales and support channels. And what it means for Arbor customers, potentially, those of you on this call or on this video, is that you get access still to a super nimble, innovative startup, but now you have the confidence of the endorsement from HP, the fact that we've worked together on this product for almost 2 years. And then, of course, like Arbor gets access to HP's QA engineers. We get access to feedback from the HP team, from HP customers. So it's a great synergy. HP gets to push it out through their channels, and their customers get access to best-in-class MDM from a smaller, nimble, super innovative startup. We are at about 30 team members today, and we're growing pretty rapidly. Okay, so enough about that. Hopefully you trust what I'm going to share with you now. I want to walk through 3 case studies. So I've got 3 different groups here. First, we're going to talk specifically about an enterprise customer. Second, we're going to talk about an ISV, which is a content creator, who is also operating or acting as an MSP, a managed service provider. That's been surprisingly common at this stage of the game. The ISV actually manages the deployment on behalf of the enterprise. And then third, we want to talk specifically about the content creator. So our first case study is Axon. And this is all public, so we can talk about Axon. So Axon's a really cool company. Axon actually invented the taser. They rebranded as Axon several years ago. They now build the body cams you see in this picture that a lot of police officers wear. They're a public company, and their goal as a company is to make the bullet obsolete, which is really cool. So what Axon has done is they have built training for police officers to help train them, kind of de-escalation training. And they're rolling that out across North America. So primarily the United States and Canada, but it's a pretty big rollout to police stations across the continent. And so they have several unique challenges. Number one, they've got thousands and thousands of devices that they need to be able to quickly get set up. Second, once they have pushed those devices out into the wild, now they're spread across the continent, they need a way to easily manage those devices. And third, device security. So with a traditional device like a tablet or a cell phone, it is a one-to-one relationship. One person is using one device. Probably many of you know that with AR and VR, that's not the case. It is a one-to-many. You got multiple police officers utilizing the same headset. So what that means is that you really need to know who's getting into the headset and make sure it's the right person getting into the headset, especially when you're tracking the training progress of these officers. So our first solution is bulk enrollment. So we've got a desktop provisioning app, which allows you to quickly, you plug in all the headsets you can, and you set up your configuration packages, content, Wi-Fi, et cetera. And then it's just a click and bam, the headsets are set up. We also work really closely with all the major hardware companies to make this process even smoother. On this specific deployment, we work closely with HTC because this deployment is done on the Focus 3, and they've been great to work with. So this is an important part of our solution, especially for someone like Axon who's needing to set up lots of devices. But like I said earlier, 10 is easy. 50 or 100, versus 1,000, it's still a lot of work when you're manually setting up devices. Second is device management. So this is not super sexy, but very important. So Axon has the ability to, from one panel, see all the devices that they have in the wild. So they have total visibility, they have control over those devices, they can see the basic things like device health, network health, et cetera. And then third, and very, very important, is the security component. So first, we actually have NVR authentication that integrates into your existing single sign-on. So you make sure the right person is getting into the device, into the content. We also have a beautiful, we just launched this last week, beautiful 3D launcher, which allows you to customize and lock down, from a security standpoint, the in-headset experience. So you are able to easily control what content is seen. Axon's able to easily control what content is seen by the police officers, and then restrict access to anything else. So they aren't going off into settings menus, they aren't getting online. This is a very important component. And then we have the ability to remote factory reset, as well as remote shut down the devices. Next, we have Pixo. Pixo is also a really cool company. So Pixo is an ISV, they're a content creator. But Pixo is operating as a managed service provider for several major companies. So you see the list down below. You see everyone from Ford and Bosch to Saudi Aramco. And Pixo has created some really cool content that they're now managing these deployments on behalf of these large companies. So they have some fairly unique requirements. Number one, they need the ability to set up devices on behalf of their customers. Set up accounts, set up and manage the accounts. Number two, they are the content creators. So they've got lots of content that they need to be able to push and control how that goes out to all these different organizations that they're managing. And then third, they work with several device types. So different companies use different headsets, and they need to be able to manage that all in one location. So our first solution is multi-organization support. This allows Pixo to go in and set up all these different organizations on behalf of their customers, and then they can easily share applications between the different organizations. And we've got really flexible billing options here. Second is content distribution, and this is very important. I don't want to skim past this. So number one, we allow them to deploy large files. APKs are large files for VR or 360 video. Second is that they have, we do version control. So they can roll back to different versions. You can see exactly what version is on each headset. Third, and this might be the most important, is that there's total control and visibility around when the content is deployed. So you can set when the content's deployed, so it's not happening mid-training. And remotely, you can tell what is the status of that content install. Are there any errors, or the uninstall? And again, imagine, it's not a big deal to go put your face in 10 headsets to see has the content installed. But when you're at 50, 100, 1,000, it becomes very cumbersome. And the third, we're totally device agnostic. So Pixo can manage all the device types, from the VR headsets, the Quest, the Focus, the Neo, the Pico Neos, all the way to all the AR headsets. Anything that is Android-based standalone, we support. They can manage that in one location. And what's an interesting fact is that of our current customer base, about 40% are actually using multiple device types within one organization. So device agnostic solution is very important. And then last is just general content creators. So we work with a lot of content creators. You see Pixo on here, but a lot of these other content creators do not operate as a managed service provider. They are operating simply as a content creator. And what we have found is that content creators want to create content. They don't want to jack with all the other stuff. And so they have a couple of really simple challenges. One, they need a way to host the content, and two, they need an easy way to distribute the content. And so we've got two solutions. First is that we allow content creators to build, upload content and build their own content library. So the APKs, 360 video, supporting MP4s, they store that with us really seamlessly. And then sharing the content or distributing content. So we have a solution that we call content sharing. And this basically forms a bridge between the content creator and the enterprise that they're serving. And so it's just a couple clicks and the content is pushed to the different customers. And of course, the ISV still has access to all of the other content specific features that we shared about just a few minutes ago, the control of deployments and the remote visibility on the status. So in conclusion, I got two things for you. One, it is imperative that you have an XR specific MDM. XR is different than tablets and cell phones, and the traditional solutions just don't cut it. You're going to be pulling your hair out. And number two, we would love for you to start a free trial today at ARBORXR.com. We've got self-serve options. We've got a sales team that's standing by that can do a demo, that can walk you through the setup. So really, really appreciate your time today. If you want to reach out to me personally, you can email me at brad@ARBORXR.com. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'm going to stop the screen share for 1 second so you can see me full screen. Appreciate you all.
Thank you, Brad, for the knowledge and experiences you shared today. Well, what a wonderful and far-packed day this has turned out to be. And I'm sure all of us have learned a lot from what we heard today on the insights, the trends, the solution, predictions, experiences, and for what lies ahead in the future. With this, dear audience, we have reached the end of an insightful and successful day of the Middle East Retail Extended Reality Technology Summit 2022. The entire team of the Rendezvous experts is thankful to our esteemed speakers, eminent panelists, our sponsors and partners, Google, Microsoft, Arbor XR, Cleanbox Technology, and Varjo for their support. Last but not the least, I thank our dear delegates for joining us today in huge numbers and making this an event a success. It was really great to hear about these emerging technologies and how it can transform not only your businesses, but the entire world, considering Metaverse is the in word at the moment. Thank you all and have a lovely day ahead. Stay safe and have a wonderful week. This is Roger Dawson and Bridget signing off. Thank you.